Welcome to Of the People. Thank you for joining us. Today, multiculturalism meets anti-Semitism. So another day, another mostly peaceful anti-Israel, anti-United States, pro-Hamas, pro-terrorist protest around the country. And how appropriate that it is now rooted in Columbia University, Yale University, New York University, NYU, among other places, right? We started with Harvard and MIT and University of Penn, and now we've rolled into college campuses and all of this nonsense, right? So how appropriate at this point? Because when you really think about all of this, the epicenter is now on these elite Ivy League and some not so Ivy League, but college campuses, which is where all of this crap, frankly, started because we took our eye off the ball. Let's not forget we started with safe spaces, right? And then from safe spaces, we went on to DEI, which diversity, equity, inclusion, we know really stands for division, exclusion, and intolerance. And this nonsense CRT, critical race theory, all of this started on college campuses, and all of this is this anti-Semitism. Now, but before that, it started with this banal sounding word called multiculturalism. And you've all heard multiculturalism. We've all heard it, right? Multiculturalism really, from a layman's perspective, is no culture is superior to another culture, and all cultures should be valued and upheld. And that's lovely sounding. Like I said, it's banal, it's benign. The problem is when you scratch the surface, that's not the way it works, right? And it presupposes that all cultures have the same rights to offer the same rights to their citizens and have the same values of human rights, gay rights, all sorts of other rights. And we know that's not the case. But let's go to the definition of this. Lord Benjamin, put up the definition for everybody to see, if you're on the video of this, of multiculturalism. The problem, again, with all of this was the problem is anyone who preaches multiculturalism, it's a farce. It is the height of real racism, because what they're telling you, they advocate for the worst kind of racism because they're lying to you. They're covering up what they really mean, because what they're trying to do is force you to accept their way of how society should be structured under the aegis or banner or fraud of multiculturalism, right? Now, let's look at Europe. Find me one place where multiculturalism, this whole, it's the same reason they changed Scrabble to Scribble or Scrabble to Scrabble together, right? Why can't we all just get along because all cultures are equal? Well, no, all cultures are not equal. I'm sorry. All humans are not equal. All cultures are not equal. Look at Germany and what multiculturalism has done there. Look at England, that multiculturalism is done there. Look at France, God forbid, and what multiculturalism is done there. And there are cities and places in France now that the police will not go. Neighborhoods in Paris, the police will not go. How's the multiculturalism working for you now, right? So all of this, and it's backed by these spineless politicians in this country who all they want to do is get reelected. So they are kowtowing to this hatred. And again, hatred of Jews, as we talked about, and this is Passover, by the way, Zisem Pesach, but hatred of Jews is the canary in the coal mine. It's not that just they hate the Jews. They're coming after the Christians next. So for my Christian friends out there, if you think this is just about anti-Semitism, it's not. But let's step back. How did we get here? This is really simple. Now, Lord Benjamin, play the video. This is how we got here, folks.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
That was former President Obama, if you didn't recognize the voice on radio. Former President Obama, 5 days before the election in 2008. Now, let me ask you a couple questions here. First of all, if you love something, why would you want to fundamentally transform it? Secondly, of course, they're going to tell you in banal, sort of benign words that, oh, no, what we were talking about is transforming America. Nonsense. The transformation that they are talking about through multiculturalism is what you are seeing now on these college campuses. And they're counting on our fear, and they're counting, which there's a lot of that out there, and they're counting on our apathy. You want to know How come Hitler was able to take 6 million Jews and put them in the oven? Because of the fear and apathy amongst the general population. What do you think is happening here? The other proof that this is a canard is it is impossible for these protests to be anti-Israel and pro-United States. So you are now always hearing it's joined, and it's not just because the United States is funding, to a large extent, the Israel response to the Hamas attacks. It's that Israeli values are American values, which are human rights values, and that's why they don't like them from here. Multiculturalism. Oh, and one last point before we go to the show. To the Bob Krafts and Leon Coopermans and Bill Ackmans of the world, those billionaires who are now pulling their funds and pulling their donations from these elite Ivy League schools, I have two responses. Good, and why did you wait so long? You turned a blind eye to, yeah, you can take that off the video. You turned a blind eye to what was going on to college campuses all these years, and you kept making contributions. And what did you think was going to happen here? So I applaud you for withholding contributions, but where were you 20 years ago when you saw all this was happening? So kudos, but not really, right? We reap what we sow, and this is what we sow. And frankly, they have these billion-dollar endowments anyways. They don't need your money, right? Multiculturalism meets anti-Semitism. Truthfully, multiculturalism leads to anti-Semitism. And that's the monologue.